Okay, welcome to this, I don't know what you call it, tutorial, demonstration or whatever. I'll just try to walk through some of the features of the Blender 3.0 alpha version right here. First of all, we'll select the video editing template because it will come with a couple of settings which are quite good for doing video editing in Blender. I prefer to sort of change the UI, but you of course welcome to do whatever you like. The thing is that you see we got two tabs up here. One is video editing and the other one is rendering. Rendering comes with all the render settings and yeah, whatever the project frame rate and resolution. And you will notice that the very same information is right up here. So for me personally, I don't need that, so I just drag in this corner toward the right and then it's gone. You will also notice a file browser up here. The thing is that you can actually import files right here as well, and doing it this way you will get quite important import settings for the various file types, and you can import multiple files this way as well. So I prefer to remove that one as well. Bada. So now we got a simpler screen, but I actually prefer to make it even more simple. We have some tools here, but it's not really developed into something useful, so I prefer to just switch off that double height header, remove the tools over here, and remove the sidebar, because I prefer to have a nice wide area down here for the strips, and I also prefer to have a nice big preview area. The thing is that when you import strips, you need to work with the settings of those strips. So if I select up here sequence of preview and open over here, you saw this tiny V laying on the side. This will be the properties as well for the strips. It's also the properties for the view. Let me import a strip. I go to add movie and then import downloads. Is this one good? Yeah, we can use that one. This is footage from an open source film called the Cosmonaut. Yeah, you will see that we got the settings up here for the strip, or we can sort of change the position and all stuff like that if we want to. And we also got a green line here. This is the video and this is the sound or the audio. Up here we got overlay settings, and these settings can be changed of course, and now you can see its sound because it's got the waveform drawn now. Look up here, you can see it's got the sound and the icon for the sound and so on. We can do cropping, some video stuff, and there's a time panel which you can use to sort of change, well, if you prefer changing stuff that way. Yeah, whatever. The main thing is that we want to do some editing, and if I go to the strip, you'll see that in Blender it's called split. So split and the shortcut K. If I hit split, nothing happens. Normally it will sort of make a cut in these strips and you will be on with your work. But in Blender you need to select everything before doing a split. So you select, move the cursor, hit K and do a split. Yeah, that's just the way it is. You may have noticed that there was actually another way to split called hold split. So let's try that. Oh, we have to select first and then hold split. Let's move these out of the way. If I extend now, you'll see the strip has have a different color, and it's actually holding that frame. So if you're doing a hold split, you can't extend from that frame, but you can do a freeze frame. So hold splits are actually for doing freeze frames. So yeah, in most cases you do not want to use the hold split way of cutting strips. In Blender 3.0 there's a new feature called Preview During Transform. You'll see we will preview whatever is at the position of the playhead. But changing the handle will actually change the preview. And it's actually previewing the very frame we are moving. You can see there's a white outline here, so this is called the active strip. If I select two strips, there's one with a white outline and some with orange outlines. These are the selected strips, whereas this is the active strip. When previewing, it's always the active strip which will be previewed. One thing to notice about active strips and selected strips is that you can batch change the values of these. For example, if I mute here, you'll notice that it's only the active strip which is changing. But if I press Alt and I do like this, you'll see it's all of the video strips changing. Apparently it can't also change the audio, which is a bit peculiar. But that is one way to sort of batch change values. You can also, if you do like this, right click, copy to selected, then the rest of them will be mute as well. What if we do like this and then I copy to selected? It will still only copy to the video ones. But well, at least that is a way to batch add things. We can also, for instance, Alt change the duration, and then the duration of all strips will be changed. That might come in nifty if you're doing like slideshows or something like that. When trimming, we talked about the preview, but what if you have like two strips like this and you want this strip in between those strips? If you do it like this, bang, it doesn't go there. But notice when I drag the strip up here, there's some text. It's quite hidden, but it says G or Alt, expand fit off. Now I hit Alt on expand fit, and what it does is wow, I don't know what happened there. Oh man, that's strange. Strange behavior. Now I press Alt and then I release it. Okay, so it actually inserts that material, and that will also work if you extend like this, hit Alt, and then bam. It doesn't work the other way. It doesn't adjust if you're like doing it like this. It doesn't, but it extends. There's one feature here we could use, which is called remove gap. Bang, that will remove the gap, but only if there's a gap on all channels. Else, you can't do it. What are the functions we have? Like snap strips to current frame. That will snap apparently all the selected strips. Oh, where we got it? like that, and then stack them. I don't know if that is very useful to have them stacked like that, but anyway, that's how that feature is working. Swap strips, yeah, move, that is what you do when you're moving everything. You can also hit G, or just drag. Yeah, the selection is actually quite important because that is determine what strips you can work on. And there's a feature here called box select include handles, but this is mainly for selecting the handles, which is quite nice if you need to now I hit G to adjust here, to move a cut, but keeping the sync, for instance. If you're doing like music videos or something like that, you want to just, if there are a few bad frames, you can just like move the cut like that. There are various ways to sort of select. Now I hit hold down Control, and then I can select to the left or to the right of the cursor. If I hit Alt, just do some cuts here. If I hold Alt and here, I will grab both of them, and then I can move the middle part. Or Alt and one more, I can move those two outside. So the strip in the middle doesn't actually change frames, it's just moved horizontally, whereas the other version, both the content and the in and out points are moved. Yeah, there's also the neighbors selection and channel selection. And linked basically means more. That is the next one. If I select more once more, it will select yet another one. Yeah. And then we have different strip types. There are like effect strips, but the reason why they grayed out is that you will need to add a strip which it can be applied to. So here we got a video strip, a movie strip, and now there are things we can add to that one, and some of them needs like two strips. You can see there. Some of them still grayed out, so now all of these are, yeah, they're for merging strips, right? You notice that these become lighter because they are signed or attached to that effect strip. And then we can do transitions. Here we got two movie strips overlapping. I right click, add transition cross, and then they will cross. And you can do the same thing with the audio. We select two audio files, holding shift for multiple selection, crossfade sounds. It's a bit hard to see now. We got the waveforms. Actually, we can just remove these as well. Oh, the waveforms are still there. Waveforms off. You'll see the F curve right here. So this is the curves showing that the audio from one strip will disappear and the other one will appear. You can also, if we open the graph editor, you'll notice that we got the curve right there. I select this, grab, and move it around. You can see that it's actually moving in the strip. So this is what is happening. So when doing audio fades, it's with the F curves. You can actually also do F curve fades on movie strips. Fade in, fade out. We got the curve going like that. So yeah, it's a complete mess in the preview, but who cares? Another nifty feature is that you are able to have a selection of strips. Let's say we want this audio and this video to become one strip. We can make a meta strip. Now you can see that this one is made out of 2 strips, and hitting tab we can actually insert and change whatever is the change and return. Another strip type which might be interesting to use is the scene strips. No items available, and that is because we need a new scene to. I'll just add another camera. There should be camera mode, view, navigation, walk navigation. We have the 3D view here. I'll go back to the scene with the video editing. You'll see that there's any video editing in that one. And now I can hit Shift A to add the scene. And whoopsie, there we got our 3D scene. You can see it right there. And it's got some settings as well. If we got several cameras, we can select a camera here. Yeah, there are actually 2 cameras, so if we duplicate that one, we can actually make a cut between those cameras. So this one is this camera, and yeah, and it's jumping, and it's because it needs to be refreshed. So now we have a cut between 2 cameras from within the same scene. We can make it transparent, if that is working. Yeah, and then we need to refresh it again. That should not be something we will have to do manually, but apparently we do. Yeah, cross. To actually make it transparent, we need to add alpha over here, I think. And again, we might have to refresh all. Yeah. So that we have it. I'll do the same alpha over. And it's jumping because it needs to be refreshed. There's actually 2 Suzanne monkeys. But hopefully you'll get the idea of what's going on here. So we can actually have stuff from a 3D view within the video editor. Yeah, it's quite a mess right now. Okay, some other things we can play around with is if we want do color grading, we can add modifiers here. There's a color balance, for instance, and we have to make sure that the playhead is actually on that strip we're working on, else we'll be very confused. But yeah, we can change the colors like that. But wouldn't it be nifty if we could compare that image with another image from the same timeline? And the thing is, we actually can. We go to view in both of these and switch on frame overlay. And frame overlay. If we set this one to reference and the other one to current, and we move this one, the frame offset, that's a bit, it should be updating now, and why isn't it? Oh, now it updated. That's peculiar, but it might be a bit dark. Oh, with the Susan, it's easy to see. But this one is from this point, and this one is from that point. So, and that could potentially be two different shots, which is quite nifty. So you can actually compare the colors. But on top of this, if we need to actually get some histograms and all that, we can switch to that over here. So this one should be for the current view, and modifiers. You can see that it actually does affect whatever setting we have over here. So we can actually see what we're doing in statistics like that. Okay, so now we worked within a very tiny range, but the thing is that if I hit play here, the Playhead will jump back to the very beginning, and that can be quite puzzling to many users. But the thing is that we have a range here, and the Playhead will only play within that range. So if I want to play all of my strip material, I will have to select all, and then go up here, range, set range to strips, and then it will be within this range. Okay, let's go to the rendering tab and try that one out. We have the resolution and the frame rate. We hope that will fit with our material and a path. But we don't want to render PNG image files. We want to use FFmpeg video, which will can convert our material to a number of different codecs and containers. We'll just use this one. This one is YouTube friendly, and we want some audio as well, AC3 audio. And that's pretty much what we need to do. Or actually we might want to check color management. The view transform should be set to standard and not filmic. If it's set to filmic, the render times will be like super slow, and the colors will be grayed out. So in most cases, using the videos, you will not need the filmic setting. Anyway, now we need to render, and what we do is go down to the view and select sequence render animation. I hit that one, and then our mess of an edit will show up here. It's a bit slower, quite a bit slower when rendering with 3D elements, but yeah, that's an area which could use some improvements. The speed of the scene strips, but hopefully that will be addressed at some point. Yeah. So this is pretty much it. This video should have the audio and the images you have edited, and then you can do whatever you want with them, upload on YouTube or whatever. Okay, that will be all for now. Thank you.